It's Friday, it's your MCN, which, if you don't already, is a collection of Marvel Contest of Champions based information, responses to bugs, issues, and let's face it, there's definitely been a lot of issues. It's been a long week. So much so that Kabam have gone to DEFCON Purple. No, they've put more banners and information up for people on the forums just to let everybody know what's going on, especially because, and we did a video devoted to when we're likely to get the compensation for that extra point for the Absorbing Man fight, whether or not people used to bank that point to get to the next milestone or use it down the line. Or what I did, I just muddled through with doing the guillotine one, mainly because it bought an extra point, which could be very handy down the end of the road when it comes to like pick and choosing something. Something may go right or something may go wrong. So let's bring you up to speed in any case with other stuff that's happening around the community or things that you should really know. For those that have had the issue of the access key issues where you weren't able to get a large quantity and you're like, oh great, they went, and for me, I think as I said like a while ago, like they went in straight into my stash, and if I didn't claim them in that time frame, they'd be gone forever, and it would just be like, well, weird, because I wouldn't be able to do half the content I was doing with doing the rift runs, showcasing it. But one of the big things has been about when the compensation is going to come through for those missing keys. And Kabam Jax has let us know that the plan, the team is aiming to have the missing keys distributed via in-game message by March 1st. I was thinking that, like, okay. We'll also be extending the quest period, so it will now end on March 20th, allowing additional completion time. We'll also be extending the Unbreak My Ironheart solo event. Of course, that means that whilst you're doing the rift runs, it then gives you the points for it. Now, somebody did say that the side quest has gone, the timer has gone or extended on it, and I haven't like checked myself. I've probably just skipped over it, haven't really noticed it. So it says 26 days from now. So it's always important to do these things. 26 days from now, from today, if I put it into Twitter, it is coming up with the 19th of March. But that may be something in the next update. It does get extended, so I just kind of had a quick, just check there, and it says the 19th of March based on what's in game currently. And as I said, maybe it's just, Kabam have kind of got the future update coming in, which I do say, distributed by March 1st, and that kind of, what does it pinpoint to next week is when we get the new announcements. March 1st is when there'll be the new live stream with the new update going on March 4th into game. So yeah, I kind of like pinpoint that as being when we'd see stuff, but it's good news for those looking, to get involved with this and get the compensation which is due for them. Now we move on to Mastery Point compensation has been put in for Act 4 completers. That then things changed when you did the exploration. Oh, this is very, very good news. It's taken a long time, but we're finding out. I was going to share a very funny story of someone in, I don't mean to kind of mention this person in from our alliance, but I thought it was funny because this came just as I was recording this segment, and I thought I've got to share this. Any case, so Kabam Jack says, I'm able to cautiously confirm that the team has awarded the missing points to impacted accounts. It will require a full restart of the game. So as of now, all accounts that should have the appropriate number of mastery points according to their progression level. Thank you for your patience on the issue. We know it's been a long journey. So yeah, that is great news for people that were affected by this. It's been months. When was this? Like, is this 6 months? It's longer than that. It's longer than that. What was that? So August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. No, it's 6 months. It's 6 months. I did get it right the first time. So yeah, 6 months this has been a thing. Which of course, for those that didn't realise, and this is the funny story I'm going to share in a second. Of course, like if you went through the completion and you were going to explore, and then the exploration became a completion, you already pre-completed it. So therefore, you missed out on the mastery points. It's a bit of a weird situation. Here's the thing, right? This is funny because someone. Sorry, Just Fitness said that anybody else got these 2 mastery points? Are they free or something, or they got erased? And I said Act 4 compensation question mark, and obviously everyone's like, oh, right, 60. Of course, if you've done Necropolis, you're going to see a certain amount. So then obviously my question was, have you completed or 100%ed Act 4? And not 100%ed. That's why, because as I said, like it got changed. If you had done the completion, the mastery points were in the exploration, but then they moved to be in the completion. Because they're there in the completion, you've already completed it. So technically you should already have them, but you didn't. So Just Fitness has been going through for the last, I don't know how long, without additional mastery points. Just realizing now, and obviously I've been saying, I've been covering for this for the last 6 months. Yeah, so he said that they were removed from rewards. Oh, Just, if you're watching this, yes. I'll have to explain it when I've done. I need to cut the video now because we need to move on to the next topic. Okay, now I'm moving on to a new issue when it comes to side quests. Kind of an offshot from something we covered earlier. Claiming a certain amount. You can't claim all the keys. So I did get reached out by somebody, which I have to update them that I have seen their issue, the same issue being replicated, because at the time I didn't see it. So Indomnius. Shout out to Indomnius, who sent me through the following, where is it? The following video, this video right here, that showcases that if you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. No, when you go to claim, you see there, he's claimed 1, he's claimed the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th, and the 6th. And there we go. And then it says he's claimed the last one, right? So you think, okay, he should have, and he's like, again, it's like repeating through, like, it's like a repeat reclaiming. It doesn't allow to claim. So he's like, what's going on here? It's all very weird. And especially when it goes to the side quest. And there's no available keys to use on this one. So indeed, it looks like there is some sort of bug with this one. Really annoying, obviously really annoying for players, and it is something that as of a couple of days ago was being investigated, yeah, no update at the moment on this one, but of course you can see there that some players are just, you know, it's unable to claim, and it just could be a device-based issue. I'll keep you updated once I know some more on this. And now we're going to finish off with a bit of coverage on something that was quite interesting. Kabam Crashed responded to a thread, really interesting insights, and I think it's always important to kind of see what you know, the head honchos have to say on the matter, especially when it comes to the topic of the purpose of energy in Winter of Woe. So of course there's more insights which it's important to read. When we started on the design of the new content that we internally call Seasonal Everest content, we took a look back at past designs of endgame content to see what was working and what was not. When it came to the meta systems of Winter of Woe, we identified 2 major things we wanted to change. The first was the Eternity of Pain events used peak milestones for rewards, which really didn't like players didn't like because it required months of commitment before players saw any benefit. By the way, love those changes. I don't think anybody's complaining at that. We absolutely love that as a community. Even when the final objectives were completed, players had to wait the event to end before the payout. This is very good reason EOP used peak milestones, and that's because many of the chase components of those rewards, like Nexus Crystals, Abyss Nexus Crystals, were indivisible. Indivisible. Okay, we couldn't give out small amounts along the way, and so had we gone with the regular milestones, they would have felt really insufficient at the lower rungs, as so much of the value will be necessarily being in the top few milestones. We also wanted to upgrade crystals as players progressed through milestones. Sometimes that wasn't really possible with regular milestones. We actually tried to draft rewards with regular milestones you collect along the way and just couldn't get it to work. I was trying innovation. Thankfully, with Winter of Woe, all the chase resources in the game right now are easily divisible. We can award Titan Crystal Shards, 7-star Shards, 7-star Signature Stones across a number of milestones. That build up to the top, we were able to improve the player experience by providing regular rewards for regular progress. The second thing we identified that we didn't think was working was the complete riskless entry to the quest. Players could enter the quest hundreds of times, get knocked out hundreds of times, and there was zero jeopardy involved. To us, that this was very strange. It should be consequential when champions get knocked out in the endgame content, and in EOP it just wasn't a lot of time. And we'll come back to that. I'm not sure. This is what this is difficult. I know Kabam don't agree with something that they feel they're putting in, but then I think from a player base, we don't really agree with how Kabam kind of do certain things with the game. And that's the thing, isn't it? We need to find this harmonious balance between developer and player to coexist, so to speak. In any case, we'll come back to that moving on. Given we wanted to change this aspect of the quest, we talked to about a few options. The first we toyed with was entry limits, as I believe Kevin mentioned on stream. We decided that would swing too far in the other direction, completely preventing players from practicing or trying to go for the solo. It was how they preferred to play the content, so we settled on adding a substantial energy cost to the quest. I mean, I would have been happy with gold, to be honest. Gold is the entry fee. It had to be something meaningful enough that getting knocked out would have consequences, but not so costly that the player couldn't retry the quest many times should they so choose to use that energy in that way. Use gold. Gold would have been a better currency. I know some won't believe me when I say this, but nobody on the game team sat down and did calculations. We thought we could make X amount of dollars to charge Y energy. We never had a conversation about that. It's about adding risk to late game quests, which we believe is a fundamental component of challenging content. Yes, but you take away the fun side of things. Today's quest, well, the Winter of Woe, was fun, but then that's a difference. Balance isn't going like, I'm happy to give 10 energy if the fights and the AI is at a good level. I think they would they have struck a better balance if the Absorbing Man was better balanced. And that, again, we can't know, because you can't go back in time, and Kabam can't change the ways with it. Additionally, trying to predict the exact impact of the energy cost in terms of the measurable indicator, engagement, player time, player seasons, or anything else would have been a waste of time. As time, I thought that wasn't a resource that's meant to be measured. Time's not a measured resource with Kabam. As the late game energy economy has been so broken for so long that there is no real way to predict how this will impact the game. That's why we have to wait for data to see how it impacts the game. So we're the guinea pigs. We are the guinea pigs here. That's a revelation, isn't it? I appreciate the honesty. Thanks to Kabam Crashed for doing this and being honest. Finally, on a personal note, this is one of those times when a designer, my job was to act against my own personal play patterns. I am one of those players who will do these fights dozens of hundreds of times, trying to get them perfect. I can say that personally, that felt bad for Absorbing Man fight, in which I probably spent 15 plus energy refills. What? Experimenting, perfecting my strategies, and it felt so good for Nebula fight today. Yes, where it took me a couple of refills to finish the objectives. One of my solos today was a fight that started poorly under the EOP zero energy economy. I would have backed out and gone again. But that's the thing, isn't it? You're forcing your. There's some weird standards here, like how I'd say Crash's behavior as a player may be different to mine. Mine's very different. Like, I'm not saying like I would constantly go at something to perfect it. It would be a case like like Elden Ring or other games where you kind of like you repeat the same boss fight to try and nail it down in one go, but it doesn't cost you each time you go in. If you save and go back in again, it's not costing you each time you do it. If and maybe that's a bad example, but you know what I mean. Like, you would kind of go and do a you go into a zone, do a boss fight. Mario's another example. Back in the day, you used to do just going, okay, well, I died. I'll kind of like I'll go back in again. You start from fresh and you have another go. It doesn't cost you. You may have had items going in, but maybe you're able to save, reset, and go back in again. But I think people might know what I'm talking about. With the energy cost, I toughed it out. It was probably my favorite fight in the type of content ever. I was able to overcome a challenge, otherwise I wouldn't even bother to attempt it, not being for the design change. There you go. At any rate, I hope this provides some insight on how these decisions are made. I wanted to take some time to write this down, as I know a lot of members of the community have taken time to provide detailed feedback, and I appreciate the effort. I have a vacation that starts tomorrow, so I probably won't be responding to anything for a few weeks, but I'll be lurking and definitely be back in March to answer the questions about some new things coming to the contest starting next build. Yeah, so as I said, I really appreciate, you know, Kabam Crashed taking the time to kind of answer against stuff, give a bit more insight. There's some stuff that I understand why Kabam wanted to put it in, but as a player, it just doesn't resonate with me, and of course doesn't resonate with a lot of other players within the community looking at this this subject. Then there's some things that Kabam need to take. You know, they did well at. They did well at when they did the reward structure side of things, but the energy spend, it's odd. It's odd, and I think a lot of players have we've calmed down from it. But I think the big takeaway from this is that we are a guinea pig, and there's a lot of things, as I said, there's a lot of things that go in a different direction with kind of Kabam Mike saying time is not a thing to measure against. Your time is different, but then it's like Kabam using time as saying invested time, and it's where there needs to be some cohesion on what Kabam is saying on certain matters, because there's a little bit of a hypocrisy here and there of the mantra, the standard, what they're looking to achieve with stuff, and it's just aligning people. This is what we're saying on the matter, and yeah, it's the thing where they said about I think it's this paragraph here. And I believe a fundamental component of the challenging content. Additionally, trying to predict the exact impact of the energy cost in terms of the measurable indicator, engagement, player time, which again, player time, come on, funny in it. Player sessions or anything else would have been a waste of time, as as the late game energy economy has been so broken for a long time that there's no real way to predict how it will impact the game. Well, here's the thing for me is energy wise, I do have a load of energy refills, but they go really easily. I'll find them gone. I'll have to do, because you've got to do things like Karina's challenges, you've got to do Act 8 before when it comes out. There's some months where that energy is just going to go and it's going to eat into units which are going to be needed for revives and health potions as per Kabam, and not free to play using those units on things like deals which are in order to help them out make gains, whether or not it's making gains to be Valiant and other areas that they can't do without doing stuff like Necropolis, which again requires you to use those units for health potions and revives. So there's a lot of moving parts to this. There's a lot of stuff down the line. I think we'll understand where Kabam are going at, but this was interesting. Thanks to Kabam Crash for doing this, and I think that's what we're going to end on. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Check out some other content located on screen, and I'll see you all in the next video whenever that'll be. Cheers, much love, and goodbye.